Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of True Crime Time for Thursday, January 9th. And I'm Woody Overton.
I'm Cyndi Overton.
Here we go again, bringing y'all some love from around the world.
Lots of love.
Cold still in South Louisiana, and going to be raining today and I think tomorrow and Saturday. Mm-hmm. And then Saturday night it gets down cold again. It is what it is.
I know.
Like I said, other people are a lot cold. Oh, you know what? Before we get started, huge prayers for California. We got so many great lifers. All lifers are great, but so many lifers living out there that are affected by these fires. And who would think of fire this time of the year? But man, it's crazy, huh?
It is crazy. I've been watching it. I never watch the news, but I've been watching stories about it all morning, and it's just very, very sad.
Yeah, and we unfortunately know what it's like to lose everything.
They're comparing it to a hurricane and a firestorm. You know what I mean? Like hurricane winds and a storm of no water.
And hopefully, we're proof that property can be replaced, even if you got to deal with insurance companies, but the lives can't be replaced. If y'all are in the way, leave your stuff and go.
Yeah.
You know, and stay safe. And we love y'all, and prayers that gotta let it rain or something.
I know.
And I don't know what the answer is to that. That's one thing usually we don't have to deal with. I mean, we deal with some fires, but not like what they have.
Not like this. No.
So, I don't know. Stay safe and, stay safe.
Well, Tommy Cox in the UK is watching it too, and he made a post. He said, I wonder if someone may, because of the time of year, essentially. I mean, he didn't say this in the post, but he wonders if someone accidentally started it, because people throw stuff out the windows. They leave campfires going,
It could be anything. It could be lightning strikes. It could be anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know. I mean, usually we're very wet here, but like last summer it was so dry, it didn't rain for 3 months and stuff. And I don't know.
I know.
So with that being said, let's get on some true crime time for Thirsty Thursday.
Thirsty Thursday.
Right. Penn State, Notre Dame tonight. Whoever wins goes to the college football championship. I know you can barely contain yourself.
I can't. It's just
I'd be so glad when that and hunting season's over with, won't you?
No, I won't be glad when hunting season's over.
All right. Well, anyway, let's do it.
So I do have a short update. I watched a short video of a dad from the NICU, kids with the femurs broken.
That hospital.
And he was clearing up accusations of it being targeted at a hate crime towards a particular race. And this was a black male. And he said out of all of the babies, only 2 have been black.
Yeah. But
they all have been male babies.
Yeah, maybe she's a male baby hater.
Yeah, right. But that was the only significant difference that, came out, other than the day he did state that the day before they did the x-ray and found the femur being broken, they wanted to hold the baby and were told that they could not hold the baby, him and his wife. But they were also warned that the potential of not being able to hold the baby because it was, so young and in the NICU and tubes and all of that, they didn't question it. So then when they went back the next day is when they were told of the femur, but they knew of the femur being broken the day before when they said that they could not hold the baby.
And I get that. People may not understand that, but I've actually had to take dead babies from parents' arms in the emergency room because you have to investigate it as a possible they did something until the autopsy. And it's one of the hardest things. You think telling people their loved ones aren't coming home or been murdered or bad, you try prying the dead baby from his mama's arms and saying, we got to take it as evidence now.
Yeah.
That sucked.
Right.
And so they're doing what they had to do. Because at that point, they didn't know. The parents could have broke the baby.
Well, and that's what the dad also said. He said, I'm glad that we didn't fight it and say, this is our baby, we're going to hold it.
Right.
Because then they could have been held culpable. And, you know.
Well, hopefully they'll get all that stuff straight.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy.
And I know we don't talk politics, but I did want to say goodbye to Jimmy Carter. When I was a kid, I always wanted him to marry my grandmother, even though he was married. He loved jelly beans.
My favorite contribution to him is his brother. And they did the Carter beer or whatever it was, but really it was Shiner Bock.
Oh.
Yeah. And so there you go, Jake Donaldson, a little history for you.
I didn't know that.
The Jimmy beer or whatever it was called. I actually had some when I had my big Shiner Bock collection before my nephew lost it all.
Mm-hmm.
I let him have it for his college room. I had a 6-pack of it. I also had a 6-pack of the Gillies beer. Gillies was,
you did.
It was Shiner Bock.
He was living the high life.
Jake, you wouldn't believe I had all the neon signs. I had the cutout cupboards, whatever you call that, advertisements of women holding the beers. I had everything from mirrors to whatever But anyway, all right, let's get down again. Some true crime time for lay it on us.
All right. Well, Jeffrey Hatcher and his sister Charlotte were killed by their father in a murder-suicide.
Hold on. It's time for Family Matters. All right.
The Missouri community is grieving the loss of 2 elementary school children after they were found fatally shot in their burning home last week.
Nice.
So it wasn't enough to shoot them, but now we're going to
get rid of the evidence.
That's right. We're going to set the home on fire and make it look like we just all died in a fire. Jeffrey Hatcher was an 8-year-old boy, and his sister, who was 6 years old, was named Charlotte. Or they were found in the home that was burning.
Right.
In Kansas City, Missouri, on Thursday, January 2nd. Both appeared to have been shot. The children's father, who's 38, is named Zachary Hatcher, was also found dead of a gunshot wound inside the residence. And police now think that Jeffrey and Charlotte were shot before. Police say they responded to the residence on Thursday evening to carry out a welfare check.
There you go.
And once on the scene, officers saw smoke coming out of the house, and soon after entering the home, had to retreat as the fire spread inside. After the fire department officials extinguished the fire, police found Jeffrey and Charlotte with their father inside, and Charlotte and her father died at the scene, but Jeffrey later died when he was taken to the hospital.
Yeah, Jeffrey got the worst of it.
Exactly.
And all that lived.
Right. The school district that the children went to, made a sweet statement saying that Jeffrey was a vast learner. He was eager to learn and just loved to read. And words cannot fully express the indescribable pain and sorrow we are experiencing as we mourn their passing. I mean, Daddy.
Well, can't do anything. Can't kill him. He already killed himself.
Right.
And
there's no mention of the mom. In this, so
fires of hell already started on him. I mean,
he started on himself.
He had to kill his kids, set the fire, or attempt to kill his kids, set the fire, and then shoot himself.
Mm-hmm.
Had it on his mind.
Yeah, and he wanted to be double sure that they were gone.
Well, he did. He did,
or cover up the fact that it was a murder suicide.
He failed at part of that because. The little boy, Jeffrey, suffered, but I don't know. Crazy. Now, you and I have flown a lot together over the years.
Yes.
And one year, I flew like over 100 and some times at least across the country. So spent a lot of time boarding and off boarding and making you gate. And I guess travel can kind of be stressful. Never really for us, but we didn't get any arguments or anything.
No, we travel very well together.
But yeah, I think about all those flights I've taken over the years, and I don't know other than like parents snapping at kids, sit your fucking ass down. Yeah, shit like that. Shut the fuck up. I don't know that I've ever heard of one like this. So let's go to Logan Airport in Boston. And this dude got on the plane and he tried to get off after opening the door while the plane was taxiing. It was a JetBlue plane at Logan's Boston Airport. And this happened on Tuesday, December 7th. So witness said that the guy, who's not been named, had been arguing with his girlfriend.
Oh.
And he just fucking had enough. And when he was arguing, he was like, fuck it, I'm leaving. And he got up and he opened the emergency door of the aircraft, which delayed the flight naturally, right? That's what I'd be pissed off about. I'm like, motherfucker, you can just argue all you want to. Don't open the door. What if he did it mid-flight? Or try to?
Oh, yeah.
So the passenger, Fred Wynn, who sat in front of the man and his girlfriend, spoke to WBZ TV about the incident on the plane, and they were flying from Boston to San Juan, Puerto Rico. He said, boyfriend and girlfriend were arguing behind me. Boyfriend got mad, got up, walked down the center aisle, grabbed the emergency door, ripped it off, completely off. And an FBI agent who happened to be on the plane was like, I'm about to use me some training. And he made a motherfucker get some real estate and then handcuffed him, right? So the witness said, shortly after, state police came aboard and took him off. Massachusetts State Police responded to alert at 7:30 p.m. local time with passengers restraining the man before police arrived. Now look, I'm going to tell you, if I'm on that flight and you know you're fucked, you're going to be delayed. I don't guess you might have a meeting in San Juan or something, but you're going on a vacation. But if I had like a business meeting or another flight to catch, which everybody probably did, and this dude's causing that kind of issue and I get to help restrain him, I'm probably going to get in a few licks. Someone who isn't me might get in a few. He might have a couple black eyes. So they said, this evening at approximately 7:30 p.m., state police troopers from Truth F responded to a departing flight at Boston Logan International Airport. Shortly before takeoff, a passenger who wanted to deplane, naturally, right? I don't think he was opening the door to get some fucking air.
No.
Opened an aircraft door suddenly and without warning. Other passengers restrained the individual until troopers arrived on the scene to detain them for further questioning. Meaning all of them, probably the guy like me was getting an extra licks too. But they said the individual is expected to face charges and be arraigned in Boston District Court in the morning. Their identity is being withheld until the charges are finalized. Preliminary information indicates this is an isolated incident, and we do not believe this incident poses a threat to public safety, except for his girlfriend. A statement from the FAA said a passenger on JetBlue Flight 161, same thing, opened emergency exit door and deployed the slide while the plane was on a taxiway at Boston Logan National Airport around 7:30 p.m. on Tuesday, January 7th. The Airbus A320 was headed to San Juan, Puerto Rico. The FAA will investigate. Please contact the local law enforcement and the airline for additional information. Are you feeling overwhelmed by hormonal changes? I know Cyndi was, and if you're a woman, you're definitely not alone. There are more than 1,000 hormone disruptors living rent-free in our environment right now, found in our food, water, and even in our skincare products. These disruptors can wreak havoc on our hormones. Believe me, before Hormone Harmony, I watched Cyndi suffer. Not anymore. Hormone Harmony's formula, made only with herbal ingredients, have reduced Cyndi's hormonal symptoms, and it helps women of all ages. Then there are the natural hormonal changes our bodies face, such as menopause. While these processes are part of life, they don't have to be uncomfortable. The good news is that you don't have to suffer through it any longer. Hormone Harmony contains science-backed herbal extracts known as adaptogens designed to help the body cope with stressors, including those chaotic hormonal fluctuations that can disrupt your daily life. Whether it's PMS symptoms like irritability and cravings or menopause symptoms such as hot flashes and night sweats, Hormone Harmony can help with it all. Happy Mammoth, the creator of Hormone Harmony, is dedicated to improving women's lives by using only high-quality science-backed ingredients. They make no compromises on quality, ensuring that you receive the best support possible. This isn't just a supplement, it has become a phenomenon. Women are talking about it everywhere, with a bottle of Hormone Harmony sold every 24 seconds. And the most important benefit, women express feeling like themselves again. A sentiment echoed in over 30,000 positive reviews. For a limited time, you can get 15% off your entire first order at happymammoth.com. Just use the code RLRC at checkout. That's happymammoth.com. Don't forget to use the code RLRC for 15% off today. You want to set your child up for success? Is your child struggling with a specific subject, or do they need a challenge to keep them engaged? IXL Learning is an online learning program that enriches your homeschool curriculum. It offers practice in math, English, language arts, science, and social studies, and adapts to each child, meeting them at their personal level. As a homeschool parent, I can tell you that IXL has been life-saving for my son, WL. He uses IXL every day, and it allows me to tailor his learning experience based on his specific skills, not just his grade level. If he needs support, IXL finds his current level and helps him build up to where he needs to be. And in areas where he's advanced, IXL propels him forward without any setbacks. What I love most is that IXL uses visuals in its questions and lessons, which really helps WL learn math and science better since he is a visual learner. The interactive practice problems and educational games make learning fun and engaging. With IXL, school is a positive, fun experience. WL enjoys earning awards in the educational games. IXL is trusted by 15 million students worldwide and has proven to improve performance in over 75 scientific research studies. Make an impact on your child's learning. Get IXL now. Real Life, Real Crime listeners can receive an exclusive 20% off IXL membership when they sign up today at IXL.com/today. Visit IXL.com/today to access the most effective learning program at the best price. So people, like the magazine, got a statement from JetBlue that said the customer opened the door for unknown reasons, adding the flight was eventually swapped to another aircraft and has since landed in San Juan. They said, we greatly appreciate our customers' understanding as we work to address the situation. Well, I'm pretty sure the customers didn't have a fucking choice.
No.
Yeah, maybe they gave me some vouchers or something.
They better have given them. I mean, I don't know.
Right.
Like, makes you scared to think that it's just right there.
Please
so
turn
easy.
off all electronic devices at this time. Make sure your chair's in an upright position. We're taxing. Shut up, bitch. I mean, fuck you.
You'd be asleep when they were saying that.
I'm not putting this shit up anymore.
When we were going to San Diego, we hadn't even got off the runway yet. We hadn't even gotten in the air yet. You were already asleep and you woke up and was like, how long have we been in the air? We hadn't even taxied yet.
That's true. But you got to put that into context. I had been in Atlanta all week on Haley's case.
I know.
Hashtag justice for Haley. Flew into New Orleans, had to get off, had to make that flight. I was fucking exhausted.
I know.
And
you had to have a couple beers.
Oh, and a Bloody Mary. Right? Breakfast champions. I had some before I left Atlanta and probably again in New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
So that happens. But,
and then in Houston.
Yeah. Maybe that's why I like to travel.
That is why we like to travel. We literally schedule layovers to be able to go to the
lounges.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not the regular bars. We go in the lounges with the comfy chairs and the food and the drinks.
Yeah.
I hated fucking COVID. They fucked
sucked.
up our buffets and service and everything else. Remember we were in one of the lounges and
New Orleans.
Was it New Orleans?
Yeah.
The bartender, everybody had masks on and we had our mask on and I don't know if the phone went off. Yeah.
You had your cap on.
Oh, I had a Real Life, Real Crime cap on, and that lady said, I love real life. Yeah, she started singing a song, and she said, I love that show. That's the best show ever. And I ordered the beer. She said,
She was so excited.
I know that voice.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
That was cool.
We love all you lifers.
Then before that was the honeymooners in line. The guy was so excited to see you, and she was like, he's more excited to see you than our wedding.
It was like 4:30 in the morning. We're doing the TSA line.
It was.
All right. Love y'all. Don't ever hesitate to come up and say hi to us. We love that shit. And take a pic. Right?
Yes. But I'm worried about now sitting on an airplane. I mean, like, do they have to have security at the emergency exits now?
You're supposed to. Everybody that sits at the emergency exit, they come up and talk to you ahead of time, say, can you handle this?
Yes.
Now, I'm pretty sure the person who sat there, if there was somebody there, and let the motherfucker open the door, they probably don't get to sit in that seat anymore.
I'm just saying, like, does that person now have to become a police officer and, like, protect the security of the door? I mean, that's just...
I hope not. I mean, I hate the way you're going to have to talk about this shit.
I know, but it's a real thing.
Every time I get in TSA, I think about being a boy and walking straight to the gates.
I know.
Buying your tickets at the counter before you get on, smoking on planes.
You smoked on planes?
I probably did. I damn sure had ashtrays in my arms. I knew that. I can guarantee my parents did before they quit smoking.
Oh, I know. I just remember the smoke all over the plane.
Yeah, you don't remember that.
Huh?
You don't remember that.
How do I not remember that?
Because they had ventilation systems.
I remember the smoke going up.
You remember smoke because you think you can smell smoke anywhere.
I know I can smell smoke anywhere. You can.
All right.
Your brain's smoking right now, coming up with a thing to say.
No, I don't have anything to say. No further comments.
Okay, so do you like spice cake?
No.
I don't either.
I love your fucking sherry pound cake.
Well, it's your mama's sherry pound cake.
Love that shit. Never really been a fan of that. Now, I did have it like in Jamaica and the Bahamas and shit. Where they were really famous for it. It's pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
Basically, it's kind of like the sherry pound cake with a spiced rum.
Yeah.
Instead of the sherry.
Right. Yeah. So, like, every year, I know Jesus adores this. His birthday cake is a sherry pound cake, right?
Right.
And so what if all of a sudden the sherry pound cake was a little bit spicy? Would you eat it?
No.
Or would you say, Cyndi, something's wrong with this?
I would definitely tell you something's wrong with it.
All right. Well, at a recent celebration, 3 people have died from eating a homemade Christmas cake believed to have been laced with arsenic.
Well, that would make it spicy.
That's what they're saying.
I think anybody would have a problem with that cake.
But
3 people died?
3 people died.
Fuck that.
Other family members noticed an off-putting flavor, but people continued to eat it. Like, if there was an off-putting flavor, there's,
some
a cake is
freeloading motherfuckers. No, sorry, say that about the dead.
Cake is if I could eat anything, probably for the rest of my life, it would be a plain white cake with vanilla icing. That's it. It's a cupcake. That's it.
Let them eat cake.
Literally. So.
Who said that?
Oh my gosh, it was a girl. Queen Elizabeth.
So. English.
Oh.
It's French that said
Oh my gosh. I feel so stupid right now.
Marie Antoinette.
Yes, that's who it was.
Cake.
That's who it was. Yeah. Before she cut their heads off.
Sorry, English people. Sorry, Tommy Cox. All right, go ahead.
Tatiana Denise Silva dos Anjos, that's her whole name, who was 43 years old, and Maida Berenice Flores da Silva, who's 58, and Nuesa Denise Silva dos Anjos, who is 65, all died after eating, this is interesting, the homemade Brazilian Christmas cake called Bolo de Natal in Torres, Brazil.
With arsenic. And
this was on December 23rd. 3 others, including Zeli Silva dos Anjos, 61, who has thought to have baked the cake, and a 10-year-old boy fell ill. And then the identity of the third person is unclear. But the boy was discharged from the hospital on January 3rd, and Zelly remains in ICU. But during a press conference on Monday, January 6, Brazilian police officials Marcos Veloso said that family members detected a spicy and unpleasant taste when eating the cake. Just one day earlier, authorities arrested Zelly's daughter-in-law, identified as Deise, D-E-I-S-E, on suspicion of triple homicide and triple attempted homicide. So the Brazilian news outlet G1 cites officials saying that the suspect searched arsenic and similar terms in Google prior to the incident. And officials said tests showed higher concentrations of arsenic found in the fatal victims' bodies, and the source of poison was in the flour used to bake the cake.
Wow.
So the World Health Organization says that arsenic is naturally present in high levels of groundwater in several countries, but it is highly toxic in its inorganic form.
Yeah.
So the 3 deaths have prompted police to reopen an investigation in the death of Zelly's late husband.
Mm-hmm.
And
She should have had him cremated.
He died of food poisoning in September, but that wasn't investigated because it was considered.
Yeah, nobody's looking for that.
No. So there's that.
There is that. Arsenic. I wonder, the German war criminals and shit that Nuremberg trials, or a lot of the ones, period, had cyanide. Yeah, I'm wondering if arsenic, it doesn't bake out at a certain temperature.
I guess not.
That's the gift that keeps on giving. Make you think twice about. That's why I don't eat at parties.
That's why? Because you're going to get poisoned?
Could be, right? Okay. I'm about to give y'all a 2 for 2 fur. It's time for worldwide crime. And a severe case of it's time for effed up professionals. We're going to go across the pond to Britain, southwest London, Isworth Crown Court, where this lady is in trouble. When I worked in corrections, most of the time the females man the towers, or like walkways or kitchens, or like your mommy used to do at Angola, was over the visitation room.
Yeah, she looked at it as a party. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, anytime an inmate goes from one area of the prison to the other area, they don't just pat them down; they strip search them. Mm-hmm. And you got entryways and all that shit, but females don't usually, because you got to do. I don't think I've ever said this before. So I've strip searched 1,000 or 10,000 motherfuckers, and you make them strip down, face you. You say bend your head forward, run your fingers through your hair, make sure you don't have anything in your hair behind the ears. And you say open your mouth. They open their mouth, lift your tongue, and move your tongue around. Then you got to lift your arms, make sure there's nothing in the armpits, and then you say lift your balls from the front, and then you have them turn around, lift your left foot, lift your right foot, make sure there's nothing on the bottom, then bend over, spread your cheeks. So you're getting the full Monty, right?
Yeah.
And that happens, but it never happens with a female on a male or vice versa, right? Obviously, you're not allowed to do that. But this has absolutely nothing to do with my fucking story, so I don't know why I was telling you that.
Well, let me ask you this. When you are doing your strip search, is there someone else there with you guarding? Because if I had something hidden between my butt cheeks, if you said turn around, I'd be grabbing my butt cheeks and have my knife out, like my, whatever you call those homemade knives.
You're so devious.
I am.
Yeah.
No, I'm just asking, that's a real.
I don't know. I think that if I remember correctly, it'd be like one CO is escorting them to you. Like, say you're in the bullpen. Bullpen's the entrance to any of the like major areas of the prison. And so they're escorting a line. Yeah. If there was more than one person, definitely. Cause I've strip searched like 20 motherfuckers at a time.
It's just so close that you put yourself at.
It is what it is. You're that away all the time. I'd rather, I think you're more susceptible to have a motherfucker pull out a knife and stab you when they got clothes on than not.
I don't know.
And anyway, let's go to this story.
Thank goodness I've never been strip searched or put in a place where I needed to be to answer these questions.
Well, keep on talking and you'll be in trouble. Linda De Sousa Abri, who's 30 years old, and she's from Fulham in southwest London. She was a correctional officer.
Okay.
Was being the key word. In July, she pled guilty to misconduct in a public office after getting caught banging an inmate at HMP Wandsworth in June, this according to the BBC. And guess what? She admitted to having sex with the same prisoner another time. And that's bad enough, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the sex was filmed and shared on social media and went viral.
Mm-mm.
Right? So here's a picture of her, sir.
I do want to see her. Okay.
Right? So check this out. In the footage, which was filmed by another prisoner, she could be seen wearing her full uniform, but her pants must have been around her ankles.
I was going to say.
While having sex with the prisoner. And the other prisoner, who was not identified, filmed the encounter on an unauthorized phone. And Judge Martin Edmonds, KC, recorder of the Royal Borough of Kensington and Chelsea, said, and according to the Telegraph, a British thing. So, but listen to this. Check this out. The recording lasts some 4.5 minutes. And the judge said, "You participated with evident enthusiasm."
I'm sure she did.
The video doesn't lie. The second prisoner recorded the events and provided a commentary by way of encouragement. So he's like, get it, boy. Get it. Beat that CO's monkey up. Including, listen, but for real, he said, this was one of the things he said, and I quote, "Guys, we made history. This is how we live at Wandsworth, bruv. And you know, you are a gangster."
Oh,
why she's getting fucked.
Oh my God. Well, isn't this in England?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, why don't you have an English accent?
I don't do English accents. John Mason had to work with me on that. I guess I could do it. This is how we live in Windsor, bro. But they always answer it with a question, isn't it? Anyways, you're taking away from my thunder. This is how we live in Windsor, bro. And you know you're a gangster. So Bree also, the party doesn't end there. That she accidentally recorded another incident on her body camera. And this is that according to the judge. And the judge says, one was performing oral sex on the same prisoner on a separate occasion on the same day.
Oh my.
And it was recorded by accident on your prison issued body worn camera, the judge said. And the other was a previous occasion of a sexual intercourse with the same prisoner. Well, in America, a blowjob, I guess, is sexual intercourse too. But so she got caught blowing him on her bone camera. And then the other dude's telling, that dude's probably a legend now in the system, right? But the judge also said, this offense was not isolated. It was part and repeated behavior. It's not clear when the earliest offense occurred, so I shall assume the repetition was within a few days, isn't it? So when the prison officials learned about the video, they launched an investigation. Now, she's arrested at Heathrow Airport, where she was planning to catch a flight to Madrid.
Oh.
Yeah, right. So as a result of her actions, many female staff at the prison had reported an increase of being hit on by inmates and were now considered fair game.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Andrew Davie, the governor of HMP Winsboro, I guess that's the warden, wrote that in a statement to the Crown Court. Davie also wrote how it had taken many years for female staff members to be respected and treated professionally in a male-dominated environment. He said, the action of this, this defendant has undone years of positive and rewarding prisoner interactions in less than a day. Now, come on, motherfucker.
No, she's not the first.
Been banging COs as long as they are. She's the first one that has it on social media. So a spokesperson for the prison service said, while the overwhelming majority of prison staff service are hardworking and honest, we're catching more of the small minority who break the rules by bolstering a counter-corruption unit and strengthening our vetting processes. That's just by the T. As today's sentencing demonstrates, where officers do fall below our high standards, we won't hesitate to take robust action. You said it. You made me do it.
I did make you do it.
Her attorney, Rahim Mignon, KC, said his client accepted full responsibility for her actions, and she's fucked.
How could she not accept full responsibility? I mean, you have a video of it.
I mean, she had to be getting off of that. They're cheering her on like, you're making history, bro.
I mean,
you're a gangster.
That wasn't the first time.
No. It's her last time with that inmate. Now, she might be the inmate getting it from the correctional officer. Although I'm sure they're going to watch that fairly closely. And so let's end this. It's time for worldwide crime. And truly gives all CEOs a bad name. It's time for effed up professionals. All right. And you want to go or you want me to go?
If you ask that question, that means you want to go.
I do, because I have someone I want to say that nobody knows about me except for maybe you. Back in the early 90s, it was a different world. The internet really wasn't, I don't even think it was going good and all that stuff. And TV, they didn't have any of this Naked and Afraid and all the shit they have now. And one of the producers we talked to wanted to do a TV show for him. Remember, I asked him, I said, how can you get away with showing ass on like FX or whatever it was? And he said, well, now they allow us so many seconds per episode to show nudity and stuff like that. It just didn't happen back then. And the number one talk show host was Oprah Winfrey by, like millions. Yeah. And nobody else was even close.
Yeah.
Oh, Jerry Springer came along. He was a former mayor of Cincinnati, and he won some awards for being a journalist. He was a TV news reporter at a time, and they gave him his own show in our favorite city before all the crime, Chi-Town. And he started out like everybody else doing boring ass shows. I remember he always said something at the end of it. He gave us a little quotation and said, and until next time, love yourselves and each other, something like that. But so I don't know how I started watching it, but I started watching it like young. I was like 23 when I started watching it, and I watched it just spiral the fuck out of control. So the new Netflix documentary that came out on Jerry Springer, I did watch the episodes last night. Bruh, I had to laugh. I mean, before it got stupid.
So, yeah.
I mean, I didn't know that motherfucker went for like almost 30 years. Yeah. And I quit watching it like 1998. But 93, 98, yeah, you better believe I was watching Jerry Springer because it was fucking on.
And as much as you hate that kind of stuff.
I do. I truly, truly do. But that was just like, like they said, the Roman gladiators, you knew somebody's going to get their ass whipped or somebody was going to have something bad happen, and, or somebody was getting naked. And I remember they had Jerry Springer Uncut that you could go rent at the video stores like Blockbuster and shit.
Really?
They had a VHS where it was uncensored. Otherwise, they cut out all the titties and stuff, the naked people, and the fights. So I bet
you were renting that one every week.
And the best part of the fights and stuff. Yeah, I rented it. Certainly I did. I was a viral young man. But look, it was just fucking, I forgot last night, and it's not even funny. I don't even think they aired this one, but one of the ones I was watching was they had this dude. So as the show went on and their ratings climbed like fucking crazy, and Jerry Springer was the demon, the devil, they called him before Chicago City courts, and Oprah said, I can't believe that he even calls that television, and like he had like nothing percent, right? And she said, I turned it on and the man took his penis out. And I'm like, bitch, you turned it on, right? And so his shit just fucking skyrocketed. But he had a producer who was like, I don't want a motherfucker on my show unless they go fight or fuck or something outrageous.
Yeah.
And they were very successful at it. But the problem was continuing going, right? You had to top the next story. And in the end, Jerry always said he didn't know if it was fake. And one time he fired a producer because it was obviously some guy took a swing at the other guy, and the guy didn't even get hit, and he fell down like he'd been hit.
Oh, gosh.
And Jerry fired one of the producers for that, but not the head guy. So anyway, it was like shock TV for the first time ever.
Yeah.
It was like the Howard Stern of television.
That's exactly what I was going to.
Nowadays, it's fucking commonplace. So they said all the shows you watch, The Real Housewives and all that shit, it would never happen to Jerry Springer.
You're right.
Happen. So one of them, and I shouldn't say this, but I'm gonna tell it, just made me fucking bust out laughing. They had a guy who brought his wife on the show, a wife of 5 years.
Okay.
And they brought it out, and it was a Shetland pony. Wait, motherfucker starts making out with a Shetland pony. I know, it's bestiality. It's fucking horrible. But Jerry was like, you're fucking sick, dude. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe that. I remember showing this, but he also brought on like the Ku Klux Klan, but then let them come out and do all their dumb shit. And then he brought out the Black Panthers, right? And knew they were going to fight. And so it was shock TV, but I do remember this, and this is a true crime. This is why I'm pretty sure Jerry Springer said that they asked him, he was on all the talk shows. Oh, by the way, he smoked Oprah's ass in the rankings after a couple of years. He just like beat the piss out of her. One of these I remember distinctly, and it was the day. So this lady went in and filmed with her husband. And she got there, and her husband's mistress was already on stage. And they bring him out, and he's from Germany. And he's like, yeah, well, let me just tell you about it.
Yeah, tell me about it.
He came out, and he's like, told his wife, he said, yeah, I fucked you twice yesterday, but I'm leaving you. I've been with her, blah, blah, blah. Right. And they wanted that lady, to get into the fight. They like
the wife.
Yeah, the wife. Okay. They would pump them up backstage, give them alcohol and all that shit. And I mean, that was a known fact. They said from the time you got off the airplane in Chicago, you had a limo, they started feeding you drinks and shit. And the green room and all that, and the producers would pump them up to fight like, this motherfucker's out there talking shit about you. And so that's what the entertainment part of it was, I guess. So that's what people tuned in to watch. But this one, I remembered it. And the lady walked, a lot of times when people get mad and they walk off the stage, the producers would chase them down the hall and be like, you're leaving? You need to go back and do this. And this bitch is like, fuck you. Yeah. So the lady confronted her, and the guy, her husband, says, I did fuck you the last couple of days, but I'm going to be with her now, and we're done. They had a domestic violence incident before that she had reported once the cycle turned, and she got back with him. But on this one, they wanted to fight. She was like, fuck it, I'm done. So she leaves. I'm not even going to read the story. I'm just telling you about it.
Okay.
They're like chasing her down the hallway, and they told her, said, bitch, if you leave, you ain't getting we're not paying for your flight back to Florida.
What did they pay for?
And they didn't. So she left, but she had class enough where she wasn't going to do it, right? And she left, and she didn't have money. Most of their guests didn't. They actually had what they call the Jerry Springer Triangle. It was like Tennessee, Kentucky, whatever.
Yeah.
People all came from this one area. But she was from Florida, and she wandered the streets of Chicago, crime, and found her way to the bus station. She didn't have any money, and a good Samaritan saw her crying and bought her a ticket back to Florida. Right? So she goes home, and she didn't want anything to do with the dude until later on they got back together.
Oh, gosh.
And she bought a new house, and he puts her out this time. Domestic violence again, puts her out, and she's living out of her car. She had to get an attorney, and take him to court. And they go to court the day, but believe it or not, from what they said again last time in the documentary, the day they go to court, the judge grants her everything, kicks him out. He goes to a bar, and guess what happens? Their episode of Jerry Springer is playing.
Oh my gosh.
And they said he sat there and drank and drank and drank. And finally he looked over the person who was drinking next to him. He said, I'm going to murder that bitch. And guess what? He did, y'all. So I'll read it to you now. A mild-mannered single mother who didn't even like having her picture taken. She was offered the opportunity to reunite with her ex-husband, Ralph, R-A-L-F, Panzit from Germany, along with his mistress on national TV. But Campbell Penance walked off the stage upon realizing what the producers wanted from the program's guests, a heated, salacious fight in front of a live audience. To see her up there on the stage looking like a deer caught in the headlights, Jeffrey, who was her son, says, I just wish I could go back and say, don't do it. Several weeks later, on the day the episode finally aired on TV, she was murdered by her ex. Ralph went over to Nancy's home just after she had been granted a restraining order against him and beat and strangled her to death. And her murder was perhaps the most notorious incident involving the guests on the infamous and groundbreaking Jerry Springer show, which often brought on guests entwined in lurid real-life scenarios and encouraged heated verbal arguments, even physical altercations across its 27-season syndicated run, spanning thousands of episodes. So anyway, y'all, that dude ended up getting life in prison. I'm just paraphrasing for you, but this article talks all about the show and pretty much everything I just told you. You know, Jerry died back in, I think, 2023 or something like that. And they finally canceled the show in like 2018.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a long fucking time. I mean, it got so stupid. This obvious face and people wearing wigs and shit like that, I turned it off. But I remember the murder.
That's
and they did like a worldwide manhunt for him and that other lady that was on the show.
Yeah.
They finally got him and she testified against him and all that. And then judge, when they gave down the sentence and fussed at Jerry Springer show, he says, just, you know, you should be ashamed of yourself.
That's what I asked. Like, could the family like press charge?
Nope. The son, they did an in-depth interview with him on the series. And he was like, you know, they've never been held accountable for anything.
Yeah.
And supposedly the rumor was when he went and did I don't know how many shows from Hedonism in Jamaica, the nudist resort, the swinger resort in Jamaica, that the producers shipped them all 60 people down there so they couldn't get subpoenas whenever that shit was going on. But one other producer said that's not true.
Yeah.
But anyway, there you have it. All the shit you're watching nowadays came because of Jerry Springer.
Yeah.
So
I like the classy ones though, like Real Housewives of Beverly Hills,
again,
New York City.
Yeah.
Orange County.
I don't know. I saw a clip from one of them on the Jerry thing last night, and they'd be beating each other's ass. Well, you know what? Back in the day, they wanted to make the UFC illegal also.
Yeah, they did.
And Dana White got it for a steal, and now he's one of America's richest people.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, with that being said, hashtag justice for Haley. Y'all, I'm going to keep saying it because it's so important, and we're just getting into the meat of the matter. Listen to this weekend's episode, and then we're about to turn it up a notch the week after that. Now, this weekend's episode is he's just a lying piece of shit.
Yes.
Listen to it, and we're going to keep turning it up, and up. Right?
Yes.
So, and go to the App Store, download the Real Life, Real Crime Community app, become a convict if you want to, subscribe and get commercial-free early releases on everything that we do and bonus materials and everything else. And somebody sent me a message yesterday saying, thank you for not showing Haley's autopsy photos and keeping it classy. Well, there's no reason I would show those. I mean, I can describe them. It's bad enough to describe them. It's not like the crime scene where, I mean, they talk about the brain and all that stuff. That's part of it. I mean, you have to describe that. Autopsies, I've been telling y'all for years, it's the worst fucking thing you could ever have done to you. And if you saw the pictures of Haley's autopsy, you'd be
Scarred.
trying to get to this motherfucker in jail and killing him. So, but anyway, or you can become a patron, patreon.com, type in real life, real crime, same benefits, different name, and can't afford to be one. We love and appreciate all of you anyway. A shout out to Parish Forensics and Louisiana Pet Crematory. They got a new line of products coming out that Woody Overton will get to use. Roy and Kristen, and we hope to be bringing that to y'all soon. So shout out to them.
Yes.
And if you want to advertise in your business, we have the full package. Cyndi has the full breakdown of all the numbers and listeners, and it's impressive. Just email Cyndi and she can send it to you so you can peruse over it, and then we can do what we do for you.
Well, definitely. I mean, we want
podcasts are shit now. It's the way that people promote, and we have all our national commercials and all that. I would rather, not that I don't believe in their products, because they always send them to us and stuff,
yes.
But I would rather have a personal connection like we do with Roy and Kristen,
right.
and with the people that own the business.
And lifers like to support lifers. Yeah. And
we used to do that.
Yeah. And we're getting back to our roots, and that's part of it.
Roots, and that is part of it. So if you own a business and you want to.
And we've made really good friends with,
Well, yep.
All of them.
Whatever you got, hit Cyndi up, Cyndi at realliferealcrime.com. She is the guru. She knows what she's doing.
Thank you, baby.
Well,
that means
you don't
a lot.
have to thank me for doing your job.
No, thank you for the compliment.
I am getting out of here before you start fucking crying or something. And that's it for True Crime Time for Thirsty Thursday. And I'm Woody Overton.
I'm Cyndi Overton.
I'll let y'all later. Peace.